Hello, mathematicians. At what age are you dreaming of owning your first car? And what type of car would you like to own? This video will show you all you need to know before you buy that first new set of wheels. We're going to take you through 6 steps on how to get the most for your money. What can you actually afford? Where do you look for a vehicle? How do you know if the price they're quoting you is actually a decent price and they're not ripping you off? How reliable is that car? What is the actual history of the car? And also the importance of getting a mechanic's check. So, how much can you afford? If you're a student now and you want to start saving up, you may be wondering, well, what will my salary be when I finally get to the point where I can get a loan? Your loan that you'll get approved for is typically 2 times your salary. So here I went to Statistics Canada to find out what typical salaries are for students. If you want to buy a car before you're 24 years old, the salaries would be here. And if you're looking to buy a car between age 25 to 34, the salaries are here. Now, notice the salaries for girls are less than the salary for boys, and that's probably because girls are maybe starting a family, and many girls are shying away from careers that involve science, engineering, or math, or computer science. So this is just me wanting to encourage girls to go for those careers as well. So even though you may get approved for a loan that's twice your salary, that doesn't mean you can afford it, that loan. This is budget recommendations. So there are various categories here. For example, food, clothes, restaurants, typically 15%. This is based on your gross salary. And transportation should be about 10% of your budget. This includes car payments, insurance, gas, and repairs. Insurance might cost you about $150 to $200 a month. Gas may cost you about $100 to $200 a month. And repairs, you should budget about $50 per month. The rest will be your car payment. So where do you find a car? We're going to start off looking for a used car because as your first set of wheels, we want to save you money. You can go to Craigslist or you can go to AutoTrader. An ideal used car is going to be 4 to 6 years old and have approximately 20,000 kilometers per year. Now, did you know that if you were to buy a new car, the moment you drive off the lot, that car has already lost value? When a car loses value, that's called depreciation. The advantage of buying a car that's about 4 to 6 years old is the car will have depreciated enough, meaning the value of that car will have gone down in terms of price, so it'll be a lot cheaper, but the reliability of the car should still be good. To find a car, you can go to Craigslist. You can also go to AutoTrader, which is available in Canada and in the States. Type in the type of car you're looking for, the make, perhaps let's just say Honda. Let's say you're looking for a Honda Civic. And you'll have to enter your zip code or your postal code. Now here, we are going to be looking for a used car. So I'm going to leave it at used and certified pre-owned. So what's the difference between these two? Certified pre-owned is a used car that the dealer has possibly upgraded and maybe done some changes to. And so because of that, you'll end up paying a little bit more for it. So it's not always worth the difference. But for now, let's leave that. Enter your postal code and then hit search. So here's a list of the cars I've found under those conditions, and you can scroll through. Remember, we're looking for a good used car that's going to be between 4 to 6 years old and have about 20 kilometers per year. So just scrolling through, here's one here. Here's a Honda Civic, 2017. So you're looking here, there's a price of $15,250 and the mileage is 24,055 kilometers. Even though we listed here in kilometers, we still call it mileage. And now let's see some more details on this particular car. So what kind of features does it have, for example? Again, here's the kilometers. Notice that the transmission is manual. That is actually going to lower the price, which we'll see in a moment. It doesn't have a sunroof. And the trim is LX here. Okay, now let's go see if this is a fair price. The next step is to check the pricing. How do you know if the price they're quoting you is a legit price or if it's a ripoff? So where you can go if you're in Canada is via VMR Canada, or in the States you can go to vmrinternational.com, and you're going to specify some details on the type of car, including the kilometers, and then it'll give you the wholesale price and the retail price. The wholesale price is what we would get if you were to trade in an existing car. And the retail price would be the price that you should be paying. To look up the price of a car, of a used car, go to VMR. It's VMR Canada or vmrinternational.com if you're in the States. And you click on the Go button. Then it'll ask you what type of used car. So we are looking at a Honda, and it is 2017. And we're looking at the Civic. So here, the first thing you have to do is specify what kind of trim it has. And the one we were looking at has LX as the trim. And it says here LX as the trim, and it's a sedan. So did we have a sedan over here? Yes, it is a sedan, LX sedan. So that's the right one. If you don't know, make the best guess. Now, I didn't see a navigation system advertised, so we're not going to click that. That would have increased the value of the car. Now notice here that the one we are looking at does have manual transmission, and so that actually brings the value of the car down. Now you have to specify the kilometers. Ours is just above 24,000, so you select that. And now click Calculate Final. Over here we have the wholesale price. This is the price that if you actually had one of these cars and we're going to trade it in, this is the maximum the dealer should give you. So that would be $12,925. And the retail price is $15,350. This is the maximum price you should be expected to pay, which is actually exactly what they are charging. Oh no, it's a little more. So we're actually getting a good deal here. We're just under the retail price. The next step is checking the car's reliability. You can do that with Consumer Reports. Consumer Reports test and score cars so that you can see how safe a car is that you are thinking of buying. They do road tests, they check how satisfied drivers are with the particular model, and they check the overall reliability. They will assign a score to each car. And they also do this for any kind of appliance or many, many different products. Like if you also wanted to check how good a dishwasher is before you buy one. Now, this is not a free service. It does cost about $10 a month subscription. Good investment though, and you can also check the library may also have a subscription. This is the Consumer Reports website for cars, and this is where you're going to get an idea of how reliable the car is. So we are looking at a Honda. There it is. The model is a Civic, and it is a 2017. Click on Go. If you scroll over here, you'll see some of the things that would be available to you if you had a subscription. You'd be able to see how reliable the car is, owner satisfaction, and some performance test results. For example, fuel economy. You'd like to know if the car you're thinking of getting is a gas guzzler or not. For my students, what I want you to do is check if there are any alerts. So here I see there are 4 recalls. Click on Learn More, and it'll at least tell you what some of the problems have been with this car. So this one had some steering issues, airbag issues. Next step is checking your car's history. You can actually find out a lot of information about that one particular car you are thinking of buying. Carfax is a service that'll give you a report for the particular vehicle you're considering buying. And to get the report, you need to provide a vehicle insurance number. And that's kind of like a fingerprint. It uniquely identifies the car. So if you're wondering where to find this vehicle identification number, it should be on the registration papers. It's also physically located near the dashboard, on the dashboard. You can see it if you stand outside the window or sit inside the car. It's under the engine. And this was what you need to look up the vehicle's history. So why do you want to look up the vehicle's history? Well, if you're buying a used car, you want to know if the seller has rolled back the odometer. The odometer keeps track of how many miles or how many kilometers the car has. So that is a possible trick to roll back the odometer so that the car looks newer than it actually is. And it's actually legal. And how can you find out? Check the vehicle history report. Another thing the report will give you is it will tell you what accidents the car has been in that have been reported and what the damage was. Another very important thing is that it'll tell you if the car has any liens. 40% of used cars have a lien on it. And what that means is that somebody else has taken out a loan on that car and has not finished paying the loan off yet. So if you were to buy that car, if it has a lien on it, you could then become responsible for paying that previous owner's debt, not something you want to do. Here is Carfax. It exists in Canada and in the States. You would enter the vehicle identification number and then click on Go for a chance to purchase the report. For my students, I would like you to go to View a Sample Report just to get familiar with what this is, and hopefully it'll help you remember when the time comes for you to buy your actual car. So we're going to go to View a Sample Report. And for my students, I want you to check in which provinces has this car previously been owned, and what accidents were there, how much was the damage, what was the mileage on the odometer or when that accident occurred, and are there any liens on this car? That means, does a previous owner still owe money for this car? Our final step here is make sure you get the car inspected by an independent mechanic, ideally somebody who's not partial to the dealer, and that'll cost you about $130 to $200. They'll just check to make sure that the car is in good condition. In summary, mathematicians, I would like you to do 6 things. Number 1, go back to the slide on salaries, figure out what age you'd like to be when you buy your first car and what your budget would be. Number 2, find 2 possible vehicles. I know you'd probably like to buy a Tesla or a Hummer or a Corvette, but for now, I'd like you to make those 2 choices reasonable choices that you would be able to afford as a first car. Step 3, you're going to go to VMR and check the pricing. Step 4, you're going to go to the Consumer Reports site for cars and get an idea if there are any alerts on the car. And step 5, you're going to go to Carfax, which would be where you would check the car's history. Since that is a paid fee, I'm going to ask you just to look at the sample report and find out some critical information. And then lastly, for the mechanic's inspection, I'd like you to find the contact information of a local mechanic, a place where you could get your car inspected before buying. When the day comes for you to finally go out and buy that first new set of wheels, I hope you remember these steps. It'll save you money, and I hope you enjoy your new car. In my next video, I'll walk you through the steps in figuring out your monthly payment for your vehicle. We'll also look at the true cost of your vehicle, which includes the interest, depreciation of your vehicle, and something called opportunity cost.